I might have gotten the fishing rock and be like, oh, I got a darkness rock. Cool. And that would have been the extent of everything. Alright then, set those 3 stones we found into here. Stepping stone has been brought back to life. Beam me up, Scotty. Oh, is it going to take me on? No. Okay. Not able to control the camera or anything like that, so I can't look around. What's up, Kylor? I've received helpful hints to find whatever this is. Hope it's worth. Our crisis. Oh, jeez. Okay. A lot of stuff. Accidentally received Choo-Choo Idol. Choo-Choo Idol. Is this a representation of the Choo-Choo's guardian god? I think this is what the Choo-Choo rides when it grows, so she can fight. Not imagine things. Not good for your heart. Is this the only way to get Choo-Choo to be in your party? No? Okay. Piece of equipment. I don't care how it all began, nor do I care what happens in the end. I just live with Choo-Choo and die with Choo-Choo. The heck with humans. They're liars, greedy, selfish. Going away, I've had enough of it. Alright, well, seems like all I can get here. So, very, very cool. Oh wait, no, there's more books. Oh. Maybe there isn't more books. Okay. Thunderba. Let me see. It buffs her a lot. You're choosing your party either way. Attack and defense plus 20%. Motto Bell is a good piece of equipment. And drives permanently buff your stats. Yeah, I haven't used any drives yet because I haven't 100% decided on who's going to be my final party. I need to wait for my last party member, I guess, before, or presumably my last party member before I start deciding that kind of stuff. And I'm guessing that Balthasar chick is the next one. To stat max everyone. You can buy drives. Yeah, but I can't buy drives yet, presumably. I'm poor right now. I gotta be, conservative. Okay, so let us see what that Yamato belt does. Okay, so I have a gallant belt, and I still don't know what these belts do. They don't increase my maximum HP, because if you can see, Faye's at 451. He's at 451 again. So I just don't know. Not sure, but might be a re-raise. Auto life thing? Don't know. It says restores HP. Max HP 25% up. Restore. Okay, well, Faye is not really in any danger of dying, but we can go ahead and give this to you and see what it does. Give Satan the speed ring again. Maybe RNG chance to heal when you're hit? No clue, really? I'm just as in the dark as you. Power crisis. As HP go down, attack goes up. I don't know. We can give that to Satan, I guess. He only has a +2. I'm generally not a fan of those kind of items. Buy it with your character in your gear. Get character HP to 1, then put him in a gear. That's evil. What, totally legit? Alrighty, let us progress. Had to say hello to the dog. If you kill them off, then win the fight or run. They auto-revive after fight with 1 HP. But characters automatically do that. So does that just mean that they get experience? That's how you would put them at 1 HP. Oh, that's how you would put them at 1 HP. Okay. I understand. So you could use Power Crisis. Gotcha. That had a sign on the door. You can read the sign, dog. This is... They were killed by Solaris. Guess it was a child's room. Innocent, blameless lives are taken away. It's the same everywhere. A balloon pop game you were farming gives Zetosol DX. There are only like 2 in the game besides that minigame. It's a full restore HP, a revive item. I think I got 1 of those. What kind of dreams did the children in this room have for the future? What kind of question is that? Why? Who cares, man? Why was this allowed to happen? Why does this never end? What are we? There's no end to war and resentment. So this is where you all were. Queen said this house was destroyed in the Great War 500 years ago. The house has been kept like this on purpose as a reminder of the war. Thank you for waiting. Please come to the palace with me. Hey, wait. That girl. It's alright. Shall we go to the palace now? Let us go. We write a new walkthrough for this game. All-inclusive walkthrough. Most guides are missing information. Give it a shot. What is there to lose? Looks like it can be opened. Oh, this isn't creepy at all. Oh, this is one of those mirrors you were talking about, where it shows my weight. Gotcha. If you're fat here, it shows you. If you're skinny, or if you're too skinny. Got it. Remember you mentioning that a while back. Alrighty, let's get to stepping. Like, get out the way, man. I should have saved before this, because you could, like, try to kill me or something. Most of the guides say crap about all the old rumor where all the weight makes you faster or hit harder, but it doesn't at all. Oh, man. I was like, can I just go around you? This way, please. It is weird that there's this weight system that doesn't really do anything. It would be kind of cool if, you know, you could be faster or hit harder. Long ago, I heard that a lone choo-choo was taken from the town by a wise man. I haven't heard what happened after that. I hope that choo-choo is doing well. This is the library where many books are gathered. This place is packed with many ancient books that you not find on the surface. If you're a book fanatic, you drool over books like Our First Run Prince, limited books, autograph books, banned books, and mountains of hard-to-find books, and more mountains and mountains of books. It's too much. Well, setting that aside, if there's something you want to know from the past, it'd be good to go and talk to the librarians. Don't worry, it's their job anyway to tell the new people from the surface about the past. The powerless are maimed and slaughtered, all because those crazed leaders give out one bloodlusted order. Doesn't matter how advanced their technology or culture is. It's the same thing. Not one thing has changed over the years. It's gotten so sad, you can almost laugh. How long does this have to last? Bars? This is the Tactical Command Room. Currently, we are keeping track of the activities of both Solaris and the land and collecting data. Lately, there have been a lot of unusual activity down on the surface. Think Solaris found something? Very well may. Maria has truly done so much for us. As of now, many of us consider her to be the guardian angel of Shabbat. Regardless of how well she can control Sebzin, she's only a 13-year-old girl, probably worried sick about her father who's been captured by Solaris. Balthazar has strongly told Maria not to leave Shabbat under any circumstances. Probably said that because he knows that if provided with the chance, that child would immediately try to fly off to Solaris, all by herself, to rescue her captured father riding on the Sebzin. Boom, boom, boom. What's up, Angel? How you been, man? Scientists of Solaris had bitter experiences in the revolt by the lambs 500 years ago. So they decided to do some work on the lambs. They inserted various limiters that they would never be able to revolt. For the past 500 years, Solaris controlled the lambs' consciousness, behavior, and all. Naturally, lambs don't know anything about it. That makes it even more unforgivable, although it's highly efficient. Let me see. You have a theory of something it may affect, but you haven't tested it yet? Did I sell my old equipment? I don't think I have sold all my old equipment. But I might have sold some stuff. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have any iron helms. A man named Krellian was the mastermind behind the planting of the limiter in the lambs. He was originally a lamb. He learned molecular engineering from the sage Melchior personally, but he misused it for such a terrible act. Unbelievable monster. Is this a treasure chest? The whereabouts of the three sages, Melchior, Balthazar, and Gaspar, have not been known since the Great War. There's even a rumor that they lost faith in humans because of the tragedy in Nisan. Solaris' activities have increased once again. I wonder where they are and what they're up to. Treasure chest? What is not? Got a new GPA and it arrived today? Or GPU. Nice. Which one did you get? The limiter restrains the lamb's abilities, but there may be a way to remove it. Tara Melchior. He used to be one of the three sages of Shavat. You must know a way to remove the limiter. This land is a testing ground for Solaris. Their objectives are genetic engineering, crossbreeding, and mind control. They want to collect data for the newly created organism and general combat data. Lambs are mere livestock to be raised for Solaris' purposes. The ethos was established mainly to control the lamb. Ethos supervised the land dwellers like domesticated animals, or domestic animals, and I was not doing this for fun either. It's an important simulation. Creating appropriate organisms that can align themselves with the animal relics is one of their important objectives. In any case, the lambs will continue to be Solaris' guinea pigs unless someone stops them. Okay, you want to talk about animal projects, man? I think the only place to get them is the Balloon Pop minigame. Talk to this. This was the War Room or whatever. You got gifted Risk of Rain 2, so you're going to play with the friend who gifted it? Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. So the animal relics were created by God's wisdom. I wonder if that is truly the case. All in all, that unit was meant to merge with something inorganic. That would be the proper assumption. It is foolish of humans to try to depend on such things. Yeah, you ain't gonna get me to say chew. Oh my, I've said too much. Forget what I said. That which the Gazel or Gazel Ministry of Solaris desperately seeks is the 12 animal relics created by God's wisdom. The merging of an animal relic and a gear can produce an Omni gear, but the subjects must be in suitable synchronization or else the transformation will not occur. Some of the animal relics have been discovered, but there are still more left undiscovered, sleeping deep in the earth. Even we have been devoting much to the search, but to no avail. ROG Strix Arez R. Okay, is that a who manufactures that card? Doesn't sound like a Nvidia. Sounds like the other guys. The power of the Omni Gears was so great that they could even hold back Diablos. Diablos' collapse 500 years ago. If any more of these fall into the hands of the enemy, our future and even those of the land dwellers will be. I implore you, land dwellers, we require your assistance. Shavat must collect the remaining animal relics by any means necessary. An AMD card, mid-tier, about equal to a GTX 1060. I think I have a 1060. Coincidentally. Oh, I didn't notice there were stairs here. I saw some people down below and I was like, I wonder if we get down there. Further down is the prison. It hasn't been used for several hundred years, though. It isn't anything worth seeing. Well, I guess you could say we had similar barbaric phase like the land dwellers. I'll decide if it's worth seeing. Where we keep the criminals in their cells. It's said that soldiers from Solaris were locked up in here long ago. I've heard we've even done many atrocious things at that time. War is like that. It abolishes good and bad. One betrays friends, neighbors, and even his own flesh and blood. War turns even good, kind humans into crazed monsters. This is a carbonite cage that petrifies humans alive. Regardless of whether it was only used for criminals, it is still heinous. No matter how you look at it, they've sure thought of cruel things. By the way, you land dwellers know about the Nissan tragedy during the Great War? You hear anything from the higher-ups? No. I doubt they told you. Those old men politely avoid talking about it. Do they think the truth will disappear if they turn away from the past? Bunch of fools. Be careful, land dweller. You'll have a terrible time if you open up your heart to those old men. Just like they did in Nissan 500 years ago. Where's Han Solo? Freeze them in carbonite. This is a machine created to put brutal criminals and dangerous monsters to sleep. It isn't expected to be used again, but it is ready anytime, just in case. Anyone who has no business here should leave. Get out right now. Oh, when I'm done. What can you use points for? I don't know. I'm not using points. That day, 500 years ago, that woman was definitely here. There was no other alternative but to be a captive. We could have won, at the cost of many sacrifices. Only if that traitor hadn't disappeared with the woman. The escaped woman freed the beast. The beast sucked human blood and ate their flesh, tore the world apart. Since then, people have found themselves groping in the dark. They've been atoning for a crime for 500 years. I want you to be careful, young one. Don't follow the same path as the traitor, drowning in hatred and love. Can you spend them to see the cat? Yes. Just really want to see Belle. You don't want to see the dogs? The dogs? The barking dogs? You just won't stop barking? Sucker food dogs. That Great War 500 years ago. I can remember it like it was yesterday. That's something I can't get myself to forget. Many lives were lost. Much love, many dreams, friends. Those irreplaceable important things in our lives were scarred and left to bleed. Are those days going to return once again? I don't want my children or grandchildren to go through that night. You humans are truly unusual living beings, aren't you? You're all like shattered fragments of a mirror. Oh, there's a door here. You didn't know I had dogs? I unfortunately have dogs. I don't want dogs, but I have dogs. We've been flying up in the sky, right? It isn't easy getting supplies. Can't just go down and get our own supplies either. We made it this far somehow, but if the situation continues like this, we'd better do something. This month is going to be very tight too. Must cut down on rations a little to make it, but everyone will probably gripe about that. What am I gonna do? What are you doing? Is that a door right there? Take a shot every time someone says, and Shavant says 500 years ago. They have been very fixated on 500 years ago, for sure. So hungry. Is the meal ready yet? Whatever you do, it all goes back to food. You got that? Food. For me, I get the feeling I'm most alive when I'm eating. Isn't it the same with you guys? Eat to live, or live to eat? Don't even know, do we? I bet those Solarians are always eating all the good stuff. It's so unforgivable. Man, that makes me want to go get some food. There's a place not too far from my house called Rubio's, and they have this taco called a grilled gourmet taco. It's like $3.50. It's completely overpriced, but it's absolutely delicious. And there's a possibility that I might get some today. I'm on a budget, a self-imposed budget, but I might break that budget. We're still running around in the sky because of the war that broke out 500 years ago. It doesn't make any sense. Why do we have to suffer for what our ancestors did? What do you think? I can't even get fresh ingredients for meals. I've had it. You're a new person. Oh, welcome. You look good, Faye. Where have I seen you before? Meal will be ready soon. Please join us and eat to your heart's content. Yui. Why are you here? Didn't I tell you before I was born here? Where did I see Yui before? After you left the village. Oh. The village. Was she the one that was getting married? Probably not. After you left the village, I decided to return to Shavat along with the survivors of the village. Because of the soldiers from Ave and Kislev were showing up around there. See. Welcome back. Oh, it is nice to be back. Thanks for your trouble. Sorry for putting so much trouble on you. What are you saying? Not your fault. There's nothing to worry about. The people from the village understood after they came here and heard the story. They couldn't blame only you for that incident because Solaris was behind it. Yes, but... Have you met the queen? If you haven't, go say hello to her as soon as possible. Okay, I'll see you later. Wow, I forgot all about her. Understandably, you haven't seen her in forever. Dory. Choo-choo, my friend. Dory really talks a lot. It's amazing how much stuff you have to talk about. You can have a conversation without talking. Have you forgotten already? Yes, I have. Alright, so some old characters are here. That's interesting. Went to Habaneros today? I'm guessing that's a place and not the pepper. I'm guessing it's a place named after the pepper. You just arrived from the surface, didn't you? I've heard about you. They say you saved our colleague captured by the Ethos. Thank you very much for that. I wish they'd give me a mission. I'd teach those Solarians a lesson. Oh, and you are? I feel like I've met you before. Resemble Khan, one who taught us the art of fighting. Isn't Khan Ramses? Nobody knows his whereabouts after he went to the surface on a queen's mission. I doubt something bad happened to him considering his skills, but I wonder where he is. Isn't Khan Ramses? It's a Mexican local food restaurant in your town. Totally overpriced, but it's amazing. Gosh. A lot of doors. This place is big. I see. So you're the son of Khan. Oh, well. That answers that. Have you met Queen Zephyr yet? You still can't forget about the tragedy in Nisan during the Great War 500 years ago. Even though it's not her fault, I assume she can't forgive herself for betraying and abandoning her fellow members, though she had no knowledge of what was going on. Oh, I may have said too much. I'm not supposed to know anything. Anyhow, keep up the good work in overthrowing Solaris, young man. I'm not overthrowing Solaris. I'm just chilling. You too are a sucker for Mexican food? Mexican food's the bomb diggity. Tacos are my favorite food. Balthazar brought Maria to Shavad about 5 years ago, along with that Sabzin. I think I decided on pronouncing it. Balthazar said he sneaked into Solaris by himself and tried to save Dr. Nicola and Maria. He laughed as he told me that he managed to escape with Maria and take that Sebzin as a souvenir. Maria's father, Dr. Nikolai, was captured by Solaris and nothing has been heard from him since. In any case, I'm sure he's being forced to do research on gears. If they develop Sebzin further into a new gear weapon and start mass producing them, well, to say the least, it would be more than we could ever handle. Mexican is the best food. It's pretty delicious. I might say Italian food is better. Maybe. There's some amazing Italian food out there. But because I have Italian food so rarely, Mexican food just, tops everything. Humans banished from the paradise were foolish enough to revolt against God. In order to resist the power of God, they created 12 animal relics, called themselves gods. For 10 days, 10 nights, the world shed its blood. Mahanan was enveloped in flames. But human strength was no match for God, and the arrogant humans were destroyed by God's anger. Only a few righteous men were left on the land. However, God was also tired and wounded. He decided to rest in the deepest depths of the earth. God's rest was long, but eternity is only a moment to God. Since then, the righteous men who didn't revolt against God had to live in the harsh nature by themselves, being in constant fear of death. The legend also says the following: when the righteous men's children are born again, God will awaken from his long rest and give a helping hand to them. The legend is true. What will the awakening of God bring to the people? What kind of existence? God. It's not known how much of the Genesis legend is true. However, the animal relics made through God's wisdom do exist. Solaris's Gazel ministry is desperate to find the animal relic, and Mahanan, a place known to be God's resting place. Solaris obtains that power, no one will be able to stop them. What will happen to the world then? Long ago, humans were with God in the paradise, in the sky called Mahanan. The place was protected by the power of God. Humans were never exposed to the fear or danger of death. However, one day, humans entered God's forbidden garden and ate a fruit which bestowed upon them tremendous intelligence and power. God found out about the incident and humans were banished from the paradise. Prosperous times were over. The era of sorrow and hatred began. That was the first part of the legend of Genesis that was passed on from long ago. They say a legend such as this contains some truth to it. And I listened to that legend in all the wrong orders. Life is hard. Can I talk to these people? To protect Shavad from the outside, the ancient technology of the gate is fundamentally the same thing as the stuff Solaris has planted on the surface. Even with Solaris's technology, the gate cannot be broken through. But at times, I come to think about whether this gate is only for protecting us from Solaris. Maybe that man left this gate behind to separate us, to isolate us from the rest of the world. If that was his intention, Trellian is indeed dreadful. Does that man's resentment run that deep? Trellian holds the true power in Solaris, is what I'm saying. The irony of fate. Once that man fought alongside Roni Fatima, Queen Zephyr, and Lacan against Solaris. Okay. Okay. I'm back. Back. Is this the library? Gonna go play Division? Enjoy. Have fun. Thanks for stopping by, my dude. Oh, and if you're still around, Angel, hit me up on Discord when you're gonna be free in the next couple of weekends, I guess. That way we can play Unraveled. Alright, you're a treasure chest. Let me open you. Sure, I'll rest. I'm guessing this stream is gonna run a little long because I'm gonna go talk to the people in the library and then I'm gonna go talk to the queen and we're probably gonna get shot down and I probably won't be able to save, and so it might be a longer stream today. Alright, that wasn't the library. This is... I started reading A Song of Fire and Ice. Not much into reading, but this stuff is consumable. Consumable. I have not read the books. I have no intention of reading the books because I just don't like reading. But I like the show. I didn't like the most recent episode, but I like the show. You're probably already aware of this, but this Shavant is protected by a special gate made possible by an ancient technology. Even Solaris cannot break this barrier. Because of that, we were able to avoid being invaded to this day. But even with that, we don't have the power to attack Solaris either. It's a stalemate. Basically, we've just been glaring at each other. Surviving through the Great War of 500 years ago and the Diablos collapse, we and the rest of our comrades, secluded ourselves on Shavant. At the time, Shavant was being constructed at the tip of Babel Tower, but we were able to escape to the sky before Solaris once again ascended to power over the land. Since then, we've been wandering the skies while overlooking the activities of the land below. After the war, Solaris used a gate like ours to separate itself from the surface, and then they erased all memory of their existence from the surface dwellers. Due to this, the surface dwellers are still not aware that they've been secretly dominated by Solaris all along. Be born into a false reality, to grow up in it, and to die in it without ever approaching the truth. That is the life of a surface dweller. Okay. I want to say I already talked to that person. Let's down here. The recent episode was the only one you liked so far this season? Watching that battle, having it triggered your dopamine, having a hard time understanding that person's intentions. I can't really talk about it because, you know, stream, but yeah. The Great War that unfolded between Solaris and Shavant 500 years ago was a heroic battle with the freedom and independence of the land dwellers at stake. Rebel army, which centered around Shavant, was successful at attacking the inner citadel of Solaris, but only with tremendous sacrifices. However, before we almost made it, the unthinkable happened. A new enemy appeared that even Solaris had not anticipated. That was when the nightmare began, a nightmare never seen before, a nightmare that we pray we would never see again. I'm gonna tell you, it is, huh? In regards to your second comment about the intentions, that in my opinion was like foreshadowed, but I think the payoffs, the non-spoiler thing that I can say is the payoffs that were given were not satisfying to me. That's what I'll say. At one point, Solaris and its Gazel ministry, made up of 12 elders, dominated the world with more military might than they have presently. The people on the land were treated like slaves. If any of them resisted, they were quickly and mercilessly dealt with. They treated the people as if they weren't living beings. Eventually, people on the surface began to rebel from all parts and ultimately led to the Solaris Shavat War of 500 years ago. After the war and the collapse of Diablos, similarly to the land dwellers, what is Diablos? I don't know what that is. The heavily beaten Solaris forces began to pull back and return to their home country, taking along with them vast numbers of land dwellers as slaves. Couldn't stop them. The only way for the war-torn land dwellers to survive was to depend on Solaris. After the brief moment of hope, Solaris once again began to reign over our lives. A cold and harsh era had begun. 500 years have passed and their reign still continues. No one knows how long this is going to last. Ready. Alright, so I spoke to that guy. So I got 3 people left. War-torn? Did they spell torn wrong? Torn. Those giants which fought long ago to save us. An existence which surpasses all other gears. They are the legendary Omni-Gears. One of them is the treasure of the Ave royal family, which is currently resting somewhere within the continent of Ignis. I can't guarantee that. Okay. The reason mankind was able to make it through and survive certain death 500 years ago was because the power of those giants created through God's wisdom. Roni Fatima and the other young fighters piloted these giants and destroyed the heart of Diablos. Seeing an opportunity to counterattack, mankind desperately stood up against Diablos and successfully annihilated them. Roni Fatima, Queen Zephyr, and the rest of the young ones put their lives on the line and won back the future for this world. Yeah, they made a typo? Okay. Diablos. The sudden appearance of the mysterious army put a full stop to the battle between the humans 500 years ago. Those angels of death, utterly unrivaled with no fear or mercy. Their only intention was to eradicate all life on this planet. Even Solaris's proudest gear battalions were flies to them. Nothing stopped them as they indiscriminately slaughtered and trampled upon countless lives. At that time, people were certain that the end of the world was approaching. Dominated by feelings of constant fear and hopelessness, it was a dreadful life. Alright. Library complete. Agreed, everything is rushed, hard to get emotionally attached. I mean, if they just did a couple of things, just a little bit different, it would have been fine. Or at least it would have been fine for me. I am very, very, oh, look who it is. Look who it is. Before we talk to him, what was I saying? I am a very, very forgiving person for Game of Thrones. Like, very forgiving. But if I'm saying that I don't like an episode, then I think that's a bad thing. Because I like most of the episodes of Game of Thrones. This season just hasn't been great. Overall, hasn't been great. It has a lot of nice moments. I'll give them that. This looks important. That's a rather old picture. Is it a picture of a family? Parents, a girl, and a younger brother. Everyone seems to be smiling happily. Suspiciously, not much is going. All right, wise man. What are you doing here? You're finally here. Where have you been? Been talking to the entire city, man. Why are you here? I've told you before. I learned martial arts with your father in Shavat. The queen is waiting. Go ahead. You didn't tell us why you're here. I just learned martial arts. Please come in. All right, Queen Zephyr. If we're lucky, Maria is not my next party member, and Queen Zephyr is. But we're not going to be lucky. Wow, you look like you're 5 years old. Thank you for coming such a long way. I am the Queen of Shavat, Zephyr. Your Majesty, I may appear to be like this, but I am actually 522 years old. 522? Is that really possible? Yes. I and a select few of the vassals have undergone some special life-extending treatments. We were required to continue living until that final day approaches because of one man. To continue living, this is our atonement for that tragedy 500 years ago. Let us discontinue this discussion of the past. The past seems to be very important, but okay. I've heard many things about all of you from Wise Man. Wise Man has been conducting his operations on the surface under my orders. Keep an eye on that man's activities. Also, he was ordered to bring anyone from the surface who would be of help to us to Shavat. You know, one thing I don't get is they've mentioned this gate before about how, you know, Shavat's been at a stalemate and Solaris has been at a stalemate because they both have gates. But it seems like they can turn off this gate whenever they want to let people inside. So, one, why are they worried about getting supplies and things like that when they could just fly down to the surface, you know, grab some supplies, maybe trade with some people, and then, you know, fly back up? And second, if they're grabbing a bunch of refugees to get up here, how come Solaris hasn't picked up on that? They seem to be pretty all-knowing. But how come they haven't sent in, like, sleeper agents into this town? You know? They could destroy it from the inside. 500 years ago, we fought against Solaris for the freedom of the land dwellers. Even after that, we continue to resist Solaris, although we are short of any real power. Yeah. It says the gigantic laser that, like, blew a hole in their gigantic ship. Land dwellers, can you find it in your heart to help us? Help us. We must free mankind from the grasps of Solaris. We must gain true freedom and build a peace. Peaceful... Wow, you spelled peaceful wrong. A peaceful world to live in. I see, you're quite right. But there's no guarantee that you aren't the same as Solaris, right? Even if Solaris were to be defeated, the people of the surface may just as well encounter a new dominator. However, I tell you no lie. When I say we are doing this purely for the future of the land dwellers. You still cannot believe us, then defeat Solaris, gain back the independence of the land dwellers, and then see if we still embrace the heavens together. So, what she's saying here is, you should fight Solaris because they're bad and we're good. And Faye is like, well, you could be bad. You know, what do you say about that? If you defeat the Solaris, then you will see if we're being truthful or not. You know, it's like, oh, okay, you know, like, okay, fine. You won't betray us because you just turned that question on us the exact same way you asked that question towards us. Come on, people. It should do you some good if you rest in the palace and think about it. You must think about what you ought to do. Do you want to explain things a little bit more? Like I know I just got like a whole history lesson from talking to everybody here, but she is not selling this at all. But remember, Solaris has been quite active lately. But we don't have much time for leisure. Or leisure. Any treasure chest behind? Okay. Now go and get some rest for now. What a wasted meeting. Hey, go with Shavat. Your father Khan would have wanted you to. Yeah, and you're just not gonna talk to me either, huh? Nobody but the random NPCs want to actually give me legitimate information. You know, I could actually end it here. I'm actually gonna end it here. Somehow this all worked out in the end. Bone Chick Slice just didn't want to talk to us for a long time. But yeah, I'll go ahead and call it quits here. Not much story progression, but a lot of lore. Well, I'm sure that'll make up for it, right? I talked to pretty much every NPC in this entire town, so take that. I'll be back tomorrow, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific, for some more of Xenogears. So yeah, thanks for everybody that stopped by, and hope to see you tomorrow. Peace!